The Israel-Palestine conflict is a deeply rooted and complex issue, driven by political, religious, and historical factors. The conflict has persisted for decades, with its modern form dating back to 1947. It has tragically led to thousands of casualties on both sides. The attack primarily targeted the southern part of Israel, where thousands of rockets were launched. Israeli military statements mentioned that several terrorists had infiltrated Israeli territory from the Gaza Strip. This ongoing conflict has left a devastating impact on the region, with both Israelis and Palestinians suffering its consequences. In the aftermath of World War II, the United Nations proposed the creation of two states in British Mandate Palestine, one for the Jewish population and the other for the Arab population. While this proposal was accepted by Jewish leaders, it was rejected by the Arab side and was never implemented. Consequently, when British rulers left the region, Jewish leaders proclaimed the State of Israel the following year. This declaration sparked outrage among the Palestinian population and led to the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Amid various disputes over territories, the Six-Day War took place in 1967, significantly altering the regional landscape. Following their victory, Israel forcibly took control of the West Bank and East Jerusalem, which were previously under Jordanian control, as well as the Gaza Strip, which was administered by Egypt at the time. 500,000 Palestinians fled the region during this period. Since then, amidst various conflicts and confrontations, Israel has annexed East Jerusalem, where sacred sites for Christians, Jews, and Muslims are located, and continues to occupy the West Bank. However, Israel withdrew from the Gaza Strip in 2005, which has been under the control of the Islamic movement Hamas since 2007. The resolution of the conflict still faces seemingly insurmountable disputes, including issues such as Israel's security, borders, the status of Jerusalem, and the right of return for Palestinian refugees who fled or were expelled from their lands. Although several peace attempts have been made, few practical results have been achieved. One of the key Palestinian demands is the cessation of the colonization of their territories, which includes settlements encouraged by Israel. For example, as of 2017, data indicates that at least 600,000 Israeli settlers live in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. On the other hand, Israel demands recognition as a Jewish state, a demand rejected by the Palestinians, who fear it could compromise the right of return for refugees. Other factors, such as the delay in creating an independent state, further complicate the path to a resolution in this long-standing conflict. The complexities of the Israel-Palestine conflict are further compounded by the existence of the Palestinian state and Israel's blockade of the Gaza Strip. Both sides grapple with domestic challenges that hinder their ability to make concessions. Crucially, the Palestinian National Authority, which has exercised control over the region, has witnessed a decline in its credibility among Palestinians. This erosion of trust has occurred over the years for various reasons, including the stagnation of the peace process in the region and allegations of corruption. This situation set the stage for the reinforcement of an armed Islamic movement known as Hamas. Hamas is one of the prominent Islamic organizations in the Palestinian territories. It holds the designation of a terrorist group by Israel, the United States, the European Union, the United Kingdom, and numerous other global powers. As a result, this designation has imposed financial and diplomatic restrictions on the group. Hamas, in Arabic, is an acronym representing the Islamic resistance movement. It originated in 1987, following the commencement of the First Intifada in Palestine, which was an uprising against Israeli occupation in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. With the declining credibility of the Palestinian National Authority, Hamas achieved victory in the legislative elections held in the Gaza Strip in 2006, subsequently displacing the Palestinian Authority from local governance. Hamas is a key member of a regional alliance that includes Iran, formerly Persia, Syria, formerly Aram, and the Shiite Islamic group Hezbollah in Lebanon. This alliance broadly opposes US policies in the Middle East, especially concerning Israel. Hamas's founding charter established two primary objectives: promoting armed resistance against Israel and conducting social welfare programs. In 2017, the group updated its charter, softening some of its positions. In this revised document, Hamas asserted that its struggle was not directed against Jews, but against Zionist occupiers. In response, Israel contended that the group was attempting to deceive the international community. Misconceptions on the internet often arise from a lack of familiarity with ancient biblical genealogies. Some individuals erroneously claim that Palestinians exclusively descend from Ishmael, while the Israelites are believed to descend from Isaac. In reality, the issue is more intricate. Palestinians do indeed have Ishmaelite ancestry, but they also carry a significant proportion of Jewish heritage. This complexity stems from historical instances where many Jews converted to Islam in ancient times and assimilated into Arab culture, sometimes forsaking their Jewish roots. Consequently, the matter goes beyond a straightforward division between Ishmaelite Arabs and Jews. Many Palestinians can trace their lineage to a mix of ethnic and religious backgrounds, encompassing both Jewish and Ishmaelite Arab descent. Furthermore, their genetic makeup includes contributions from an ancient people known as the Hagarenes, or Haggit, who were a branch of the Ishmaelites mentioned in the Bible. They inhabited the regions of Jur-Nafis and Nadab, which were situated east of Gilead. Their name is associated with the lineage of Hagar, a figure whose story is truly captivating. Hagar, initially a princess in Egypt, found herself in the role of a concubine after a journey that began with her servitude in the household of Abraham, where she served Sarah and Abraham. The circumstances that led Hagar to this situation are indeed intriguing. According to the Torah, when Abraham left his homeland, and journeyed to the land of Canaan, he encountered famine and had to venture into Egypt to procure provisions and sustenance. In Egypt, he crossed paths with the Pharaoh of that time, a known ruler. Abraham, concerned for his safety, claimed Sarah was his sister when they encountered the Pharaoh. This led the Pharaoh to take Sarah into his household, but divine intervention struck, afflicting the Pharaoh and his household with a plague, preventing him from approaching Sarah. Upon apologizing to Abraham and Sarah, the Pharaoh was deeply moved by their reverence for their God and encouraged his daughter to join their monotheistic faith. Hagar, influenced by these events, chose to become a monotheistic servant in Abraham and Sarah's household, marking a significant transformation in her life. Abraham and Sarah were married for 60 years without children. Sarah, acknowledging her husband's righteousness and God's promise of a great nation, suggested Abraham take Hagar as a concubine. This decision marked Hagar's transition from a servant to a concubine, ultimately leading to the birth of Ishmael. Ishmael, therefore, is the son of Abraham born from his relationship with Hagar. What many people may not be aware of regarding Palestinians is that, in addition to being descendants of Ishmael, they also possess Jewish, Hagaran, and even some Edomite genetic ancestry. Over time, these diverse groups migrated across regions, with their central area being Jordan. However, they also settled in the region that is now known as Palestine, including the Gaza Strip, where they intermingled with Jews, Ishmaelites, Hagarenes, and other groups. As a result, the Palestinian people are, in essence, descendants of all these groups. The fundamental truth regarding this conflict, in terms of kinship and religion, is that Palestinians are indeed descendants of Ishmael. Jews trace their ancestry back to Judah, the son of Jacob, who, in turn, was the son of Isaac and Abraham. While these two groups, Jews and Palestinians, are indeed distinct, they share deep genetic connections. Numerous genetic studies have not only confirmed the relationship between Palestinians and Jews, but have also indicated genetic links between various groups in the Middle Eastern region, including Lebanese, Syrians, Jordanians, Saudis, and Arabs from the United Arab Emirates. These studies collectively demonstrate a shared ancestry. In the past, Arabs and Jews were often colloquially referred to as cousins, but genetically they are more like siblings. The primary genetic difference between Jewish and Arab DNA arises from the historical migration of Jews to Europe, where they intermixed with European populations, setting them apart from their Semitic counterparts. However, Palestinians, Lebanese, Jordanians, and other regional groups share a common Semitic ethnicity. These genetic findings underscore shared roots among diverse ethnic groups in the region, despite the religious and political disparities fueling ongoing conflicts. Both Jews and Arabs are considered Semites, but tensions in the region are rooted in the development of religions over centuries. Islam, founded around 600 AD by Muhammad, coexists with Judaism, an ancient belief predating this era. Before Islam's emergence, Arabs followed various pagan beliefs. Historical references and accounts from Arab historians suggest that some individuals among these diverse groups, like Jethro from Midian, were descendants of Ishmael, tracing their lineage back to Canaan within Abraham's family. This shared Semitic connection is evident. Jethro's knowledge of scriptures played a pivotal role, influencing Moses, who married Jethro's daughter, Zipporah. It's important to clarify that not all Arabs descend directly from Ishmael, as Arabs comprise a broad array of ethnic groups, including Ishmaelites, Midianites, Moabites, Ammonites, and more. Additionally, beyond Arab identity, other Semitic peoples share genetic connections with Arabs, dispelling the misconception that all Arabs exclusively derive from Ishmael.